Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars, welcome to another PlayStation 4 review, and today's review is for This Is the Police. Now, this game I have had for a while. I did put quite a few, 2 or 3 gameplay videos up of this when it was first released at the time, and I actually thought I'd reviewed this game. I know I've reviewed This Is the Police 2 on the channel, but I've been catching up with some of the games in my library and things like that, games that I haven't reviewed and things like that, and then I discovered that I haven't actually reviewed This Is the Police, which quite surprised me. So here is the very belated review. Now, This Is the Police is a story-driven strategy game. Now, I've just recently reviewed 911 Operator, which is a similar game. However, I did mention in that review that I thought This Is the Police is a better game, which reminded me of that game, which is what made me think to check out the review for this, which I hadn't done. So I thought, oh well, because I haven't reviewed this one, I was going to download it again and re-familiarise myself with the game. And I've got to say, after playing it, it reminded me just how much fun this game is. It's a very, very good game. Now, when I say story driven, essentially what this game is, it does have a story, quite an in-depth story connected to the main gameplay here. And it's basically, you are the police chief, basically. You're very close to retirement and you get embroiled in like this corruption story that's going on. And you've got to try and negotiate your way through the story by making heavy choices and stuff, and depending on what those choices are, you might end up, you know, getting knocked off by the mafia and things like that, and that's the end of the game. Now, that is the biggest weakness of this game, I think, is its story, because it's not as if it's not done well. It is quite good, the story, and it's fully voice acted, the story and things like that, but you get into the other part of the game, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, and then if you don't make the right decisions in the story, boom, your game's over. And it's like a real bummer. It really isn't very pleasant when that happens. It's like the two games aren't connected almost. So you've got this heavy story based part of the game with choices to make. And then you've got this bit, the bit you're looking at now, which is you essentially controlling your police force and sending it on calls around the city. And these calls are really varied. I don't actually think I've seen the same one twice. I'm reluctant to say that, but it's potential. I mean, I played this so much when it was first released, and I've put a lot of time into it again now to prepare for this review, and I genuinely don't remember seeing the same crime being committed. And you've got shift A and shift B. So on your list of officers, you've got a list of normal police officers, and you've got some detectives, and you've got a SWAT team and things. So you will get like these calls, and you've got to decide how many officers you're going to send to that call, and they could be anything from a domestic disturbance to a serial killer to really weird out there requests, and you've got to decide how many officers to send. And then sometimes when they get to the call, you've got to make further decisions for these officers that could potentially lead to their deaths, or their injury, or a civilian being killed, and that sort of thing. So you've got quite a lot of decisions to make with these officers in the field as well. Now, coupled with that you've got other things to consider, because you might be doing deals with the mafia, and they will say at certain times, we want you to ignore this call at 6 o'clock because it's going to be my guys doing a job. So if you ignore that call, we'll pay you off. So you can choose whether to go to that call or not. And that's completely your decision. However, if you say you're going to work with the mafia and then you start, interfering with their plans, it's not going to end well for you. But there's also other things from City Hall. They'll give you certain directions. They might say, well, there's a feminist riot taking place tomorrow, and we want you to batter them. We want you to really, really, use violence on that crowd. And you choose not to, then City Hall will punish you by, reducing your funds and things like that. You'll get other things like, right, we want you to fire the elderly officers on your team because of this, that and the other. So you've got 3 days to fire everybody on your police force that is considered to be elderly. or an officer of colour, and all this kind of stuff. They put these weird requests in, and if you don't do it, you'll be penalised by City Hall and things like that. You can put certain requests in every 5 days for bigger budgets, so you can hire more officers, more equipment, things like that. But you've got these other crimes that take place that need investigating by your detectives. So you've got a team of detectives, and you will go out to these scenes and investigate them, and you'll get given these slides. You'll be getting snippets of information from eyewitnesses, and you've got to tie these slides together to make a crime scene up. Once you get them in the right order, these slides, then you will potentially go out and arrest that suspect, and it could lead to further investigations, investigating criminal gangs, things like that. At the end of the day, some officers will retire or just quit potentially because they've had enough. Some will get tired, so you have to rest them. Some will request time off for personal reasons. Some of them are ridiculous, like there's a new movie on today that I'm really looking forward to seeing. Can I have the day off? And it's like, well, no. And then there's others saying there's a problem at my son's school and I really need the time off to go and sort it out. And then you're thinking, well, yeah, okay, you can have the time off, but you've got to manage it carefully, because if you've not got enough officers on that shift, you're going to struggle to send people out to investigate crimes and things like that. So it's a balancing act, but it's a really fun balancing act, and it's voice acted in regards to the story, and in regards to the gameplay stuff. You get like messages over the radio and things like that, and they come through your controller in your PlayStation 4. It feels quite authentic. It feels like you've got a CB radio in your PlayStation 4 controller. So it's quite immersive as well. The biggest letdown to this game, like I say, is the story interferes with the best part of the game, which is this stuff on the map where you're solving crimes and driving around and stopping criminals and this, that and the other, and it's really, really fun, and it's so addictive doing that. I can't tell you. You'll literally lose many, many hours doing that bit, and the story bit just drags, and it's a bit slow, and it's not overly interesting, and like I say, if you make the wrong decision, bang, game over, and it can really, really frustrate you. That's what really, really holds this game back as far as I'm concerned. Other than that, it's an incredibly addictive game, loads of fun to play, and a game that I strongly recommend. You can pick it up dirt cheap now, this one, guys. It's very, very cheap to pick up, and you'll have hours of fun with it if you like these sort of games. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I do remember I didn't like This Is the Police 2 just as much as this one. I can't just remember the reasons behind it. I might remind myself on that game so soon as well. But this one, it's brilliant. I just wish the story didn't interfere with the other side of the game and vice versa, if you like. So 8 out of 10 from me. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful. And of course I will be back with more content on Screen Stars very, very soon.